Who is the GOAT of Super Smash Bros. Melee? Well, it's definitely between these two guys, but this has been hotly debated for years. Let me explain. This is Mango and Armada, and they couldn't be more different from each other. While yes, both were considered so good at the game they were deemed gods at one point in their career, the arguments for why you would pick one over the other as the greatest of all time may vary. Armada was the pinnacle of consistency and dominance during his prime. From 2009 to his retirement in 2018, he never placed lower than 5th at any tournament ever. And he's only lost 3 sets total to players ranked below the top 6. One of those matches was even so controversial, by the way, that some folks don't even count it because the game's launch rate was accidentally changed before the match began. Armada reached the top of Melee using mostly Peach, a character that wasn't seen as particularly insane during that time as well when looming threats like Fox and Sheik existed, and he also did it all from Sweden, having to travel long distances into completely different time zones in order to compete. Mango was certainly not as consistent as Armada, but where he made up for it was in the sheer longevity of his career. Mango is often regarded as the most influential and recognizable Melee player in the entire world, a fan favorite at almost any tournament he enters, and he was able to become the #1 player in the world at 3 different points in time using 3 unique characters. He's credited with being both the youngest and oldest player to ever win a Melee major, and he's one of the only players in the game's history to have won major tournaments in 3 distinct decades. So on one hand, you can argue that Armada's astonishing resume and sheer dominance over the field just can't be topped. On the other hand, Armada is retired, and Mango is still kicking to this day with peaks that could parallel the Swede. Both arguments, in my opinion, are completely valid, so it's hard for me to make a pick. And these discussions can be tough. GOAT debates are always comparative by nature because we need to evaluate the achievements of one player against literally everything. How has the field of competition evolved? Who are we comparing to? What was the time period? What I really care about at the core of this discussion, though, is that a game like Melee can and will go on. Players will come and go, and we can relish in the rich history that we've been able to cultivate over the past 2 decades, and I just think that's awesome. Anyway, both players are obviously great and deserving of any title you may award them, but I can't help but wonder,